What's going on, family? Give everyone a chance to kind of come in right now. Every chance to hopefully get some notifications. Come in and spend a little time together going over some things that are going on. Talk about some of the things we learned this week. Bring some of that information together. Get more understanding what's going on right now. Shalom. Good seeing you. Good seeing you, Sister Cassandra. Good seeing you, Ancient Gardener. Thank you for showing up. Thank you to the moderators. Thank you so much for controlling the chat. Continue. I'm gonna play a little bit of Psalm 121, sung in ancient Hebrew, or we give people a chance, the family a chance to kind of come in, get the notifications to come on in. I'm gonna play this right now. If there's an issue, them turning it off, we'll just start another live and go from there. When I suffer like put to me, he that keepeth faith will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall not stumble nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Amen. Yahweh, Yashimaya, Nakal, Rai, Yashimar, Nakasha, Yahweh, Yashimar, Amalakya, Wa'aina, Wa'aida, Wa'ai, Abalam, Aman. Anasha, Ayanyamya, Al, Aharyam, Aya, Yabawa'a, Isaiah, Yabawa'a, Mayahawa, Shah, Shemaiah, Warataza, La'a, Yelithan, Amawat, Regalia, Yala'a, Nawam, Shashamoria, Ana, Yala Anoa, Wala Yasha, Shashamor, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shemaria, Yahweh, Tizalia, Isle, Yam Yam Yam, Hashemash, Yala'an, Hakaya, Ayolam, Ala'an, Alabina, Alayala, Yahweh, Yashemaria, Ka, Rai, Yashemar, Nepasha, Yahweh, Yashemar, Halalanya, Wabaya, Ma'aitha, Ma'ai, Awalam, Aman.
I love those songs, from Yada Yada Seven, and it's amazing that we are living in these kinds of times right now, where we have been blessed to get this understanding at this time, and we're blessed to be used by the Most High at this time. We are blessed to be able to see through many of the lies that we have had showered on us our whole lives, and it's just a blessing to be alive and whatever condition we are in at this point, to be able to see the Father working. The depth of the lies that have been perpetrated on the people of the book, as well as everyone in the world, is it's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Um, the things this world tries their best to push worldwide, the things that they say the majority of the world is into. The people who supposedly get millions of views, and they're just set up as distractions to keep people away from the Most High. And we're living in some amazing times when you can clearly see how the Gentiles have been working this whole time. You can clearly see how they really don't love the Bible. They really don't love the scriptures. In fact, they have been manipulating the scriptures this whole time. That video I put out yesterday talking about how they've revised the Bible so many times. They've revised it so many times, and many times to keep our previous practices out of the scriptures. And it's just that's why when people say, "Oh, well, that's we went into slavery because of this." How do you know? We went into slavery because we broke this commandment. How do you know? We went into slavery because of this. How do you know? All you know is what your oppressors have given you. And it's like, okay, if they believe that if they did these certain things, that they were going to go to hell or they were going to have to pay for it, why do they do those things? I mean, you see them like they don't follow the commandments. They don't follow the 10 commandments. You know what I'm saying? It's not, they don't love their neighbor because we get no love from them whatsoever. They will not admit anything that they've done to us or continue to do to us as if we don't matter. But then on that side of their mouth, they're saying, we don't matter. We're not going to get, there's not going to be any recompense for anything that they've done. But on the other side of their mouth, they're going to say that God loves everyone equally and that we're all going to be treated the same. You see what I'm saying? Like they're not capable of telling the truth. They're not capable of accepting the truth. So if they've had access to our scriptures and you can see how much they lie even today, what makes you think that when they had free reign that they weren't going to just take it to the extreme. Changeable versus men, exactly right. I mean, they taking it to the extreme. Um, that part yesterday about later on Josiah finding the book of Deuteronomy, and that they were like fictionally applied it to Moses so that they could say that this is how things were before. These were the practices that we had before. But there's no proof that Moses wrote Deuteronomy. You see, and that's the thing. They have always applied these books, and they just put certain names on them, and most people don't even realize that the names that they put to these books aren't necessarily the ones who actually wrote them. Because people do, many people are comfortable in the lies. They're comfortable in the lies, and they do, because as soon as you start peeling back those layers of the onion, you start to realize that there's a lot of things, many things that we've been lied to about, right? Curse is the man who adds or takes away from the holy word. Exactly. Now they've done. Now we know that means they've done that. I've seen plenty of people doing videos about how Moses didn't write the first five books of the Bible because he died, and then how could he have written books about what happened after his death? I mean, I've seen videos on that as well. But I mean, I understand. I mean, from what I've seen, is my opinion, there was plenty of writings before Moses. So Moses was pulling information. He would have had the opportunity to pull information. Only these churches make it seem as if writing started with Moses. You know, that Moses was the first one, and that was the first five books of the Bible written by Moses, so there was nothing before. They're the ones that the Gentiles were the ones that set that up. You know what I'm saying? And so if the Gentiles have set it up, there's going to be some lies in it. There's going to be some lies in it for sure. But they're quick to, if we start to search for our heritage and our traditions. Hey, brother 12, good seeing you. If we start to search for that information, all of a sudden they're quick to sit there and tell you about how, that's not true. That's a lie. That's not your information. But they can just constantly keep making all these claims. Like Israel over there in the so-called Middle East was established 3,500 years ago by, a decree from God. They can just make claims like that with proof whatsoever. That's that just shows you where we're at. I said so. Like I said, there's a lot of information that we're not privy to, and that we get little bits and pieces here. I said, but we've got to make sure that we're open to accepting this new information and this new understanding. And some information might not be for all of us. Some of it might be for small groups of us to get into. I said I've been kind of looking on the news feeds and looking at some of the stuff that's been popping up, and it's just funny. Thank you, Mimsa Yasharel. Big so Moses did not write the Pentateuch, the priests of Cain. Okay, thank you for sharing that. What I said, but the church has been pushing all this stuff for such a long time, and people don't question anything. I said I know there was plenty of writings before Moses. So but the churches I mean, it makes so much sense. Like they said, they got to use some older, respected name in order for them to push their agenda on us. They were pushing the whole thing to disconnect us from our angels, to disconnect us from the Holy Spirit, and they were the ones that infiltrated our Bible and said, Moses says this is that, this way it used to be, and how do we know? See, if we're not given access to our own records, I'm not taking your word for it. So how do we know that this is how things used to be before? Yes, I did a video on that a couple years ago about Moses not right, him not being the first one that wrote, and then him having. I mean, hello, there's the Book of Enoch, books of Adam and Eve, and the Gentiles always, come in and, oh well, the dates on these books are from here or they're from, wait. I was like, dude, I'm not trusting anything you guys have to say. I'm not going in with, I'm in and out. Not going in with. I'm not going with the dates you say these books were written. So how do we trust the dates that you say things are written when you've been the one hiding the books the whole time? That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. If you've been responsible for hiding all of our information, and then all of a sudden you get caught, and we start to realize that you've been hiding everything, then you're like, oh, okay, all right, well, yeah, I got these books, but they were written way later. How do we trust? How can we trust that? How do we trust that? Hebrew Israelites are a cult. Yeah, they can always you're right. I says we are a cult because what's the definition of a cult? It's a belief system of a small group of people. That's what a cult is. It doesn't so of course that's not nothing negative. Just because someone says we're a cult, I'm like, oh, whatever. I said, but see, that's what churches have done. I said they get these words and then they get these negative connotations to them, and they really don't mean what the churches say they mean. Let's see. Cult. A relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or sinister. So I guess we're guilty. You want to call us a cult, that's cool. Guilty, because we are a relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or sinister. Now, all these people saying they believe in Jesus and Jesus came and died for their sins, but wouldn't Jesus have been in a cult? Just because you guys have taken his message and made it sound like it was something universal. He came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He came for a specific group of people. He didn't come for everyone. That's what's written. So if that's what it says, then all the other religions that were around would not have agreed with him. They would have thought it's sinister or, something weird, something, out of the ordinary, which it is. So that is the definition of cult. A relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or sinister. Now, and that's the whole thing. But a lot of these, Christians, they want to act as if they're in some small group that's being ostracized when they're the biggest group who's been going out and doing the ostracizing. They've been the group that's been going out and destroying all the other nations in the name of white Jesus. They've been the ones that have been getting all of our records and hiding them. They're the ones that have been setting up all these societies. So that's cool. If you want to put label, because you guys always got to put a label on somebody. That's fine. I think that don't bother me. They can say whatever they want. But that picture that I use in the thumbnail, those are the pictures of what Yahushai would have looked like before you whitewashed him. Yahushua, okay, would have been part of a cult. He would have been outside of the norms. Israelites are outside of the norms. Exactly. Cult, set apart, cool. If that's what you guys want to call us. You know what I'm saying? And I was cracking up because, people try to put their outside groups in to our cult. You know what I'm saying? I heard Paul talking about You know, well, when before destruction came, like God would he would warn the Hebrews, the Israelites, the Israelis. I was like, hey, bruh, the word Israeli is not in the Bible. The word Israeli is not in the Bible. So you're trying to take a group that is not even part of the Bible and slide them on in there. That's not who the Most High was talking about. He was not talking about Israelis. Talking about Israelites. And we don't have to waste our time because we already know that Israelis are not Israelites. You guys can you can do your own research on that. I don't need to do a video on that. I said, but you guys are always trying to find ways of sneaking in other groups that have just been newly formed and trying to make prophecy about them. They don't fit cults. You see what I'm saying? They don't fit the whole cult status. That's why I said I have no problem with you calling us a cult. If you look at the definition, yeah, we fit that to the T. Is the Most High coming back when He's separating the sheep and the goats? Is He separating? Is he going to be coming after the vast majority of the people? Are the vast majority of the people going to be considered sheep, or are the vast majority of the world going to be considered goats? Is the vast majority of Christians practicing what's actually written in the Bible, or not? Or they're always saying that they don't have to follow the laws. They don't have to follow this. They don't have to follow that. They can do pretty much whatever they want because Jesus came and died for them, and they have a free pass to do whatever they want. Off-grid desert prepper. You should check it out. Got good information about as far as news. If you want news information, stuff like that. I don't, like I said, I'm not here attacking him or whatever else. I don't got time for that. He does a good job doing the news and things like that. I said, but just like most people, I mean, hey, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I have my opinion. People are allowed to disagree. They don't have to agree with what it is that I say, um, or bring up or whatever else. I'm not bringing just my opinion though. I said we bring receipts, we bring understanding, and as you can see, like you don't have people coming out and trying to discredit the information that the Most High gives us to bring out though. You don't see a whole lot of people, a whole lot of Gentiles coming out about the real estate market and how things are ran in the real estate market. They just try to just ignore it. Yeah, they don't know what's in the book that they're carrying around. Exactly. Yeah, I didn't even watch the interview that he did with that pastor. If I have some time, I'll try to check out some of it. But we already know what's going to be said. You know what I'm saying? We already know. We've been exposed to their breakdowns. We've been exposed to their breakdowns and everything else. Uh, that's what we heard for the last 400 or 500 years. Thank you, Mr. Yashara. I appreciate that. I mean, like I said, it's just there's certain information that can't talk about, can't bring out, whatever else, can't have those kinds of discussions. But I mean, it is what it is at this point. It is what it is. A brother of mine shared a video with me. I was gonna, I'll have to maybe try to do a video on it, but it was like I want to say an 1813-year-old Bible that was talking about the years and how we're gonna come up on the 6,000th year in 2024. Coming up on the year 6000 on 2024, and that's going to be the year that we have the X coming over America. We have the X coming over with the eclipse over America. So it just kind of shows you where we're at. And as we get closer and closer to 2024, the Most High is just giving us more and more understanding. He's exposing the other nations more and more. These waters that are being exposed, they're coming down and they're exposing all these things that are hidden. I said it's just more confirmation of the times that we're living in. And I anticipate as we get closer and closer to 2024, we're going to see even more. I said we're going to see even more. Most High is going to show us even more. He is going to prove the things that he is showing us even more. So as much as Satan and his minions right now want to try to hide information, hide how many people are really watching the channel, hide how many people are really watching the videos, it doesn't matter because the right people are being exposed to the truth. Thank you, 12, for putting that up. Appreciate that. Yeah, the 12 sent me that video, and it was a really good one, and it was I want to say it was a certain Bible, and then it was working on the years, and it ended up like the year 6000 is in 2024. Just shows you how close we are to big changes coming. And now I'm looking at all these different people trying their best to break down prophecy or talk about the tribulation coming. Tribulation barely going to start, and it's like the only way y'all can think like that is when you would just exclude our people. And you don't think about the things that have happened to us as being some part of tribulation, you know? Says we've been going through it, having it handed to us for a very long time. But see what they always want to try to do is they want to try to, you know, put us off in a corner by putting labels on us. Oh, you're African American, so you guys are all from Africa, so everything about you is Africa. Everything all your history is in Africa. You have nothing to do with what's going on right here. There's no prophecy being fulfilled here in America. Oh, you're just in a cult. You Hebrew Israelites are a cult. I said if certain people have been set up to portray a certain thing, those are the ones they always want to talk about. Like I said, this is very, very deep. I said this is very deep information. Very deep understanding, and the other nations have known that we were going to awaken. So, you don't think? I mean, the other nations knew that, their time on our lands here has an expiration date. They know that their opportunity to uh, get a hold of our resources has an expiration date. They know more than we did. I said because they never lost that understanding. They know that. So now that we're awakening, many of us are still trying to, depend upon the Gentiles to tell us the truth, even though they've been a confederate with hiding absolutely everything. I said they've been confederate with hiding everything. I'm cracking up and looking at Paul Bagley. He's got a video. What is it? Rosh Hashanah crash coming September. It was, if you could look back, well, later on, look back in the live, and my brother the 12 put up the link, so you can look for it there. It was on it's like on Instagram. Just sitting just kind of cracking up with some of these videos that have been just popping up. Talking about Biden, and all of a sudden now he's trying to forgive student loan debt at this time. I was like, so you can see in their actions that they know that big changes are coming. They've had an opportunity to take care of student loan debt for decades. Thank you, Brother 12. He put it there again. But if you look up the 12, he put it a couple times. Kind of scroll back, and he has the link and the chat. But you're seeing people that all of a sudden now, I said they're just giving money to the Ukraine like crazy. They gave them another $3 billion. and it's like, and now they're like trying to give a little bit of money to people that for student loans. You know, says when did that ever happen? When did they ever try to do anything for the people? Very rarely. See, now they're trying to do it more often because they know, like I said, they're coming to the end. And I said, and really, like, daughter Yah, it says, written one day that the Most High is like 1,000 years, like 6,000 sounds about right. And the thing is that with those 6,000 years, I mean, it's written in the skies. I mean, when that first X came over in 2000, look at the things that have happened since 2017. The first line of the X for the eclipse, and look at what's happened since 2017. I mean, since 2000, 2018, 2017, the first line comes over. 2018 is the last year that this society has experienced their normal. 2019, everything started switching. 2020, everything got shut down. And now things are just said, they're just getting progressively worse and worse every year. And now you got people making the videos about, prepping and about this and how the elites are doing that. And, I said, just look, every year from 2017, every year things have gotten worse. So what do you think is about to happen if 2024 marks the 6,000th year? What do you think is about to happen? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's going to be crazy. Yeah, been off the exactly. Ancient Gardeners been off the hook exactly. 3 billion for Ukraine, 10,000 down, right? On $100,000 student loans exactly. Can you imagine what their double is going to be? Right? Exactly. Yeah, just kind of just sitting here, just looking at a lot of these people and what they're just talking about, you know, and it's just, I mean, it's amazing to see. Still talking about Trump and them going into his house, and serving his search warrant and everything else. Now, I mean, how many times could they have done that to other presidents? How many times could they have executed search warrants and went into other presidents' houses and probably found stuff on them? But they've never done it. So that just shows you like how things are different now. Talking about what Russians moving nukes to Belarus and just moving nukes. I mean, what does that matter? What does that matter? Moving nukes around. You know. Yeah, I saw that with Gavin Newsom signing a law for Black Americans who are identified as a separate group. Like, oh, whoopee, whatever. Like they're just doing things, but they're just trying to dragging their feet. I said that has not been important forever. Now all of a sudden, they're trying to move on doing certain things like that. I said it seems very suspicious to me. I said it's really suspicious to me. AMTV has been hilarious too because they keep on talking about tribulation and Jesus and this and that. It's just crazy to watch. All these and wretched TV, all these people, these Christians. Like I said, they're still pushing the exact same agenda as they always have. You know, because like I said, you just see that there's nothing new. There's nothing like they can get more information, but they don't have the capacity to take this new information and go a different direction with it. I thought that was a crazy video. Well, the article talking about the people who the so-called black couple who got their place of praise, and it was like 470, and then they ended up using white people to stand in for them, and they got appraised at 750. They said, and it just shows you like how there's no uproar, no one doesn't care. They act like, oh, no big deal. Oh, it sucks for you. I said these kinds of things have been going on forever. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but you're Christian, and you're talking about how God loves everybody. But you see things like this that are happening, and you just turn a blind eye, and you just ignore it, and you just keep it moving, like there's nothing to see here. I said, but you think you're going to get raptured away. You think that Jesus is happy with you by just always looking away and just ignoring the things that this society's been doing to his people. I mean, you're just as guilty if you know these things are going on and you say nothing about it, or you only care about it if it affects you. You know, you only care about it if it affects you. Yep, and then we try to act like we're not applying ourselves hard enough. Exactly, we're not working hard enough. When you start to see these things, when you start to see the real reasons why our people are in the situations that they're in, and you don't care enough to even like say anything about it, I said, but you think you're going to heaven. I said, it makes no sense whatsoever. Where are all the pastors? Where are all the priests? Where's all the outrage for these types of things? Like I said, there's none whatsoever. When we start to talk about Moses, not him not being the first one to write, him probably getting information from other books, other information, possibly the Gentiles setting up these books in order for them to push their agenda in our scriptures. Where's the where's the questions? Where's the outrage with that? Where is the let us see the records for ourselves so we can decide for ourselves. A rapture for them doesn't make any sense. So a rapture for them doesn't make any sense. It says because they're sitting here watching, they're sitting on the sidelines like they're at a Laker game, watching all these things going on, but then never saying like, hey, this is wrong. We need to make this right. What can we do to make this right? How can we fix this? Nothing. How can you be the spiritual leader of a congregation, but you never have like any solutions as far as like how do we atone for these things that have happened to these people? But all the while, we're supposed to help Ukraine. We're supposed to go out of our way to give them money. We're supposed to go out of our way to support all the European countries that need our help. We're supposed to go out of our way to support these Arabic countries that need our help. No notifications, Miss Abby. Yeah, getting kind of crazy. And that's exactly it. Moving resources out of the country. Joel 2, multi sweeping them off of the land. They're trying to take their ball and go home. Checking out these comments here. All right. And like I said, they can do what they want. I said the truth is going to come out. Like I said you're hiding it from the people who are going to be even more pissed off when they realize how much that they've been lied to. Yeah, I just felt, you know, want to say it was the apocalypse of Elijah. How pissed all these people are going to be when they realize that you've been hiding all this truth from them. How pissed off they're going to be. I want to say in Isaiah 14 that all these people are going to be when they realize that there was truth in the world and that you've gone out of your way to hide it from the people. You know, it's one thing if there was no truth here. I said, but if the Most High is allowing His truth to be shared, and all these people have decided for you that they're not going to allow you to hear the truth. They're not going to allow you to be able to make the choice if this is the truth. You see what I'm saying? Like the Most High is bringing out the truth. He's letting people hear it. He's telling them, "Hey, this is the truth. If you want to know more, go read, go study, go research for yourself." And but other people are making this decision for you. They're like, "No, we're not going to give out notifications. No, we're not going to let people, get this notification. No, we're not going to let them see this. No, we're not going to let them see that." Then all of a sudden, when the Most High gives you that grace period, he stops that grace period. Then all of a sudden, we're going to be like, "Well, I never had the opportunity." The Most High going to be like, "Yeah, when my people were like this, when my people were like that, you could have done this, you could have done that, but you've had the whole world going out of their way to hide the truth. Then you're going to have to pay, and then you're going to be all upset." But those are kinds of things that are written, in Apocalypse of Elijah. These are things that are written in chapter 5 of the Wisdom of Solomon. These are the things that are written in Matthew, I want to say 25, the separation of the sheep and the goats. How all these people are going to be just shocked about who the real people are. I said, because, I said, Satan is making these decisions for many of you. He's like, "Nah, you can't hear this. Nah, you can't hear that. Nah, we're not going to send out those notifications. No, only this many people are watching the videos," which is like, yeah, right, okay. Unsubscribing people, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it depends on what it is that you're looking for, but I mean, a lot of the information is very redundant. I said when you start to have your eyes opened by the Most High, you start seeing a lot of redundant information. Definitely playing with numbers. Uh huh. Yes, brother B. Jaws are going to be dropped. Uh huh. Greetings, Barbara Williams. Yes, they are very desperate. I said because the Most High has given us all this information, all this understanding, and a lot of it. You know what? A lot of people don't have never had it. A lot of them have never had this information, and it takes a lot to be able to start to think about Moses and was or his books manipulated. I said that's the whole foundation of the Bible. You know, were there writings before Moses? Where are these writings? What did they say? was talking about and that video from yesterday about how there was 350 years from the time of Solomon to Josiah, who went ahead and started to get rid of a lot of the temples and things like that that Solomon had built. But for 350 years, they had been standing. They had Many people had not had as many issues or problems with you know uh, I don't know, observing other gods, whatever else. And that's the whole thing. We don't know. You know, to me, it's like, okay, everyone knows there's a supreme power. Everyone knows that there's the Most High. But I do understand that the Most High has made angels to help us. He's also made other entities maybe to help us. He created the Holy Spirit to help us. So is it bad to acknowledge these other entities? Because they make it sound like you're giving worship. Is it worship or is it acknowledgement? You see what I'm saying? Or because I mean, even when we start looking at certain these other spirits, that there's certain things you have to do to get control of them or to get rid of them. You see what I'm saying? So it's like there's certain things that certain instructions you have to follow. So we don't know. I said, so we don't know exactly what was being taught. We hear what the Gentiles say. We hear what the Gentile breakdown is. I says, but I'm not trusting the Gentile breakdown. I'm not trusting that. So we don't know exactly what Solomon was saying. All they says, oh, he was worshiping other gods. Okay, I don't know if he was worshiping other gods. Okay, and why don't you let me see the books for myself so I can read them myself? I don't want to hear your breakdown of my records. Exactly, Mr. Yasharel. Don't know the difference between acknowledging or worshiping. Exactly. I don't know if he was worshiping or acknowledging. Okay. But as right now, like, we have our times where you can acknowledge certain angels at certain times. Okay. And these angels are responsible for certain things. So someone on the outside who's not part of our cult might think that, you know, they say that we're worshiping angels. You see what I'm saying? Because you're outside of what we study and you're outside of our group, and the Most High has not allowed you to come in to our group. So therefore, you know, you on the outside it's going to look different to you. Someone on the outside is going to look different. And when you say things like that, you're gonna say things like, "Oh, they're worshiping angels, or they're worshiping the Holy Spirit." They're gonna say all these different things. You see what I'm saying? But that's because you're not part of our cult. You're part of a big, huge cult of Jesus. You're in a big cult of Caesarea Persia. Is that we're in a small cult that follows the Most High as best as we possibly can. We're in a group that's been set apart by the Most High. So, like I said, people. I mean, there's Solomon was accused of being the smartest, most intelligent man ever. Where are his writings? Where are his books? Why do we have so few of his writings? Why do we have access to so few of his writings? Exactly. Thank you, Mr. I acknowledge my trees and plants, thank them all the time for the gifts. Does that mean I'm worshiping trees and plants? Because I'm acknowledging them. Exactly. The Gentiles are going to say yes, that you're worshiping those things, and then we're going to have to hunt you down and kill you. I'm sure that's how they've gotten around doing all these certain things. Oh, they're in a cult, worshiping plants, they're worshiping trees. You know, there's only one God, that's the only one that you're going to talk to, and that's it. Everything else that he made, you don't even acknowledge. You see, that's what's going on. I mean, the Most High put all these things here for us. But see, maybe it's because these things weren't put here for them. These angels were not put here for them, and they know that. So therefore, um, cut us off from that information. Except my brother, the 12, he's really heavy. He's been really heavy into like the information about Enki and Enlil and the Sumerian tablets and things like that. And he's been talking about how I'm sure there's many people here who've been talking about those things as well. And but how the other nations like really don't want to have those types of discussions. They don't want to get into that type of understanding, and they just kind of just they don't really get into it that much. And maybe it's because that information has nothing to do with them. If that information has nothing to do with them, then they're going to try their best to not let anyone get into it. You see what I'm saying? If it's not for you, then those people are gonna be like, well, it's not for anybody. If it's not for us, it's not for anybody. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like what's been going on with all this information. Those books, the Book of Enoch, that's not our. That's not. We don't accept that. Jasher, we don't accept that. Jubilees, we don't accept that. Well, that's fine for you Gentiles. Don't accept it. It's not for you. Leave it alone. But then don't tell me that I can't read it. Exactly, Greg Haley. All these years it's been about confusion to keep us from connecting back to the Most High. Exactly. Exactly. And the more information that you Most High exposes you to, the closer you get, and the better it becomes as far as uh, connecting with the Most High once again. Exactly, Mr. Yeshua. Exactly, yes. Yep, which is the reason they cut down the trees, because the Druids found peace and functions within nature. Exactly. And that's why all of a sudden they had to get rid of the connection when Acts 29 between Paul and the Druids. If Paul wrote, if Paul, because I mean they use Paul pretty much for the vast majority of the New Testament. Paul didn't write anything else. You got all the books of Paul written. That's all that he wrote. He didn't write anything else. Well, we already know that Acts 29 was taken out. So if we know Acts of 29 was taken out, then what else has been taken out? And the fact that like these other people who say they love God so much and they're always quoting Paul, they don't even talk about Acts 29. They don't even bring it up. They won't even talk about it. 88 protects. We went into slavery because of idolatry. Are we sure about that? Are we sure that that's why we went into slavery? You see what I'm saying? Like we don't know because we don't have all the records. Is that another fear tactic? As well, if you don't do things the way we set things up, then you're gonna go back into slavery. You're gonna go back. You're gonna go into hell. Minister Yasharel, exactly. I'm sorry. We're not sure of anything. But see, Christians are for sure going to heaven because they've said Jesus. They're so sure that oh, I confess my sins to Jesus Christ. So for a surety that if you die tonight, you are gonna go to heaven. They are, they be pushing that stuff all the time because that's what these other nations want. They want a surety that for sure, no matter what they've done, no matter what their people have done, no matter what their history shows, what their history proves, they're going to heaven no matter what. I says the more you read, the more you research, the more you have your eyes open, the less you're sure about any of this stuff. Not saying that that's a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? It is okay to not know something. It is okay to put your faith in the Most High. It is okay to, hey, I don't know Most High, but I'm gonna follow you no matter where you lead me. So I'm not sure, Most High, but I have faith that you have a plan and that I'm part of it, and I'm gonna follow you no matter where it is you want me to go. Is there something wrong with not knowing? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I thought that faith is like, you're actually willing to do things without knowing, without totally being for sure. And you see, a lot of people are afraid to put their faith in they want, I'll follow you, Most High, but I need assurances first. I need to be assured that if I say that, if I follow you, then I'm going to be in heaven for sure. I have to know for sure that, this is going to be a good deal for both of us. You get me, but I get heaven for sure. If I get heaven for sure, then I want to have a personal relationship with you. But if I'm not for sure going to get everything given, to me, then I don't follow you. You see what I'm saying? Like that's the Gentile mentality. I'll follow you only if it's beneficial for me. But when you look in the scriptures, it's not like that. Our Father, tests our people. He's tested all of our brothers and sisters, right? They go through things. They don't have assurances that they're going to have a great life. You see what I'm saying? They don't have those kinds of assurances. So every time you keep hearing people saying, "Well, you want to know for sure that if you die tonight, you're going to heaven," all I know is that when I pass away, I'm going to go back to the Most High. All I can hope for is the Most High says, you know, job well done, my good and faithful servant. That's it. I can't be like, oh, I know for sure I got a mansion in heaven. Oh, I know for sure I got this in heaven. Oh, I know for sure I don't know. All I can do is I pray that I complete the mission that the Most High has sent me here to do. That's it. I am here to do His will, and that's it. We all have assignments. Everyone has an assignment. So yeah, so like I said, I don't know. I said it's and like I said, it's okay. I have no problem with not knowing. I don't have to have a group where I have all the answers. And as you see, like a lot of groups, a lot of churches, they always want to act like they have all the answers. Right, so my video about marriages. Yeah, some people didn't like my video on marriage a long time ago. I said, but said this is what the Bible says, what the other books say, you know. But like I said, we don't know exactly how things are going to progress as far as that is all concerned. You know, I said you got the apocalypse of Abraham, talk about us repopulating our lands again and things like that. So like I said, we'll see. I said there's a season for everything, you know, and we'll see how the Most High, you know, has us go through our seasons. Yes, you said we understand that these people have no answers whatsoever. They haven't had answers for anything. So if we keep having questions and we keep bringing up points and they just ignore all that we bring out, then they want to show up on Sunday as if they're, you know, they're the only ones that have, you know, that have authority, but they can't answer anything. You know, I said that just shows you that they have nothing. Yeah, that picture from the thumbnail, maybe I'll try to put it in the community section. I stopped by a gym fair yesterday, and there's these Ukrainians who have these pictures. Well, not pictures actually. They're thick pieces of wood that have been painted, and they were in people's houses. Um, and that one particular one, the person was selling it for $3,500. And it's just, you know, I mean, I've taken pictures before, and it's like you got a picture of black Jesus, you got black angels, um, right there, and it's like, but then you got their white Jesus all over the place. I'm like, but they know that these black ones are so much older, and it's um, like, how do you just act like that stuff isn't going on? The Russian icons, exactly. I told the lady, I said, yeah, I have the Russian icons book, so I have these pictures, but these are like big, thick pieces of wood, you know, and that are in people's. I said, was this from a church? She says, no, this is actually from someone's house, you know, and it's like, so the original ones all look like this. You know, you got pictures of so-called Jesus, you got angels that are black. I says, but then black people don't have a say as far as breakdown of scripture. You know what I'm saying? You guys are the only ones that have authority over scripture. You're the only ones that have authority over what's, you know, accepted and what's not. I said, I know my brother the 12 has been heavy into the Sumerian text. I know there's a lot of brothers and sisters that have read a lot of the Sumerian texts as well, and had a lot of that information. And it's like, but the other nations just ignore it. The other nations just, I mean, like these stories were probably where a lot of the Bible stories came from. And you know, we're always taught to go to the, you know, to the original, to go back and get the original text and get the original information in order to get a better understanding. But the other nations have gone out of their way to ignore the original text, ignore the original information. Is it because, you know, they're scared that the world might not be able to handle the fact that quite possibly aliens, um, you know, created a lot of the people here? Is that it? You know, they're having a hard time with thinking about Enlil and Inky and them returning and all the other things that are written. Are they having a hard time with the fact that um, in times past, things were more advanced? Societies were more advanced back then than they are now. That, you know, when we were in charge, everything was more advanced back then. And now when the Gentiles got a chance to run things, that they've ran the shit into the ground. Is that what's really going on? That, you know, the pyramids that were built thousands of years ago are more advanced than anything they can build today. Suppose they have all these advancements today, but they can't recreate the pyramids that were built thousands of years ago. And is that part of the problem? Is that, I mean, these are just questions that kind of like run through my mind, you know, that things were more advanced when we were in charge. So I've only looked at a little bit. I mean, you got Zachariah Zinchen's books, got a lot of information there. It's like, are all these distractions just set up to keep us from asking tougher questions? Are all these things set up to keep us from, searching for more understanding? We're talking about the Sumerian texts and Enki and Enlil and these other gods and creating other beings and work. We don't know. I says a lot of things have not been shared. A lot of information is being hidden, so we don't know. So for someone to come in and say that's not true, how do you know? That's why I crack up when people try to come in and say I got 100% truth, which is not possible considering the fact that you don't have 100% of the records. If you don't have 100% of the records, then you can't have 100% of the truth. If you only are dependent upon the records that your enemy has approved for you, then you have 100% of his truth. You have 100% of Edomite truth. You have 100% of the truth that Esau wants you to have. And he uses a so-called black face to push that they have 100% truth. He said, I haven't seen any of these so-called pastors, priests, um, preppers who want to be pastors. I haven't seen any videos proving that Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible. I like that ancient gardener, right? If you don't have 100% of the records, you can't have 100% of the truth, right? And that's it. I got this book. It's got 66 books in it, but I got 100% of the truth. I can answer everything. I know everything. You see what I'm saying? Like, come on now. That makes no sense. It's like, yeah, you know what? I understand chemistry, but I only have the first chapter of the book. But I know everything about chemistry. But I only have the first chapter of my of the book on chemistry. But I'm gonna walk around here and act like I know all. I know it's a 20 chapter book. I only got the first chapter, but I know 100% of it. That's the kind of stuff that you guys are doing. And we all like, yeah, well, what about the other 19 chapters? Hey, don't be bringing that up. We don't accept the other 19 chapters of that chemistry book. We only accept chapter 1. If you don't be coming over here talking to me about chapter 6 or 7 or 8. I don't accept those chapters. Okay? I only accept chapter 1. Anything else you're talking about after 1, that's witchcraft. Chapter 2 and 3 and on, that's all witchcraft. We don't accept that. We only accept chapter 1 of that chemistry book. That's it. And if you come to me, talk to me about chapter 15, you're out the camp. You're out the group. You're going to hell. I mean, that's pretty much how it works in church, right? That's how it is now, right? Yeah, exactly. Just absolutely hilarious. how this is going down. It's hilarious how the Most High is just giving us more understanding every day. Got my 20 chapter chemistry book. I only got chapter one, and I don't accept the other chapters. That's all I get, and I got 100% of the truth. I don't think it's too much more difficult than that. So next time someone says I got 100% of the truth, you can go with that right there about the chemistry book. So next time I hear someone say, yeah, the Bible, yeah, that's all that there was. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. We only have those four, those four gospels. We don't have the other eight, but we have 100% of the truth. We know for sure that you're going to go to heaven if you say, "Why Jesus?" I'm like, how? How is that even possible? And how could I be so stupid to believe you for such a long time? You know what I'm saying? Like I always ask, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the Gospels. I was like, dude, that's four. Where are the other eight? And he's freaking crickets. Like you're telling me there's four. There was 12 apostles. Where are the other 12? Are you trying to tell me like Yahushua didn't write anything? He didn't write anything. He's supposed to be the son of God. You trying to say he couldn't have snapped his fingers and kind of left us some records, some something? Like I said, this it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. How people can walk around and act as if they got all the understanding, they got all the information, don't have the records, don't want the records, don't question why we don't have the records, don't question who's got our records. I mean, something, right? After Yahushua and the apostles, they all died, and we have all these other people that are popping up later on. Where are all their records? Where's all their information? Why can't we see it? Why do I have to wait to get approval from the church? You know what I'm saying? I was cracking up looking at angels and demons. God, what this person is doing? How close they need to get to me, bro? What is your problem? Literally, I'm the only vehicle on this road, and this person went in front of me, but went behind me and supposedly parked. Now they're backing up right in front of me, and now they're leaving. Wow. I'm like trying to get close to me. Huh. Right? I don't know what the hell's going on. They were behind me. They went out like super close to me from behind me. Like, okay. Then it goes in front of me. I was trying to practice parallel parking, but getting like super close to me. But I'm like the only person on the street. So yeah, like I said, so the Most High is going to keep giving us more understanding. Most High is going to keep on separating us even more. You can easily see who the Most High is dealing with. So you can easily see who the Most High is giving knowledge to and understanding. You know, it says we don't know everything. We know that we know a little bit, but it's still way more than the vast majority of the other people. You know what I'm saying? Like we understand that. You know, and it's like our Father created everything. Our Father is omnipresent, omnipotent. I said so to act as if somehow you know everything. I says we're gonna constantly be learning. We're constantly gonna be growing. At least we should be, right? We should be. That's why anyone that says I got 100% truth, we got all, we're the only group that has this, we're the only group that has that. Yeah, I only got 3 books, but I know everything. Yeah, I got 4 books. I got one more than you. I got 5. So therefore, my group knows everything. I said I let you know that group is not going to be learning anymore. As soon as you start hearing that we got all this truth and we got all this understanding, only my group has it. If you want to make it to heaven, you better be down with my group. You know, if you want to make it to heaven, I got to be the one that baptizes you. I said, as soon as you start getting into that, just know that your learning curve has just gone down. I said, because anybody telling you that kind of garbage, that they know everything. I said, well, do you have all the records? Well, I got 5 books. That's not all the records, bro. You got all the records? Yeah, man, I got 5 books. That's not all the records, man. So how is that possible? I said, how is that even possible for you even to fix your face to be saying some stuff like that? I said, so like I said, I haven't even been into the Sumerian text as much as my brother the 12 has. So I already know there's a whole lot of stuff in there that I'm not privy to. I said, so there's a whole lot of information right there. And in books on Inky and Enlil, I've read some of it. I said, I know I got a lot of other brothers and sisters who've read a lot of it. They know more about that. So that's more records, more information. I like that. An empty barrel makes the most noise. Oh my goodness. Ain't that the truth, Israel? Ain't that the truth? Just remember writing speak about a Sabbath day, uh-huh. These people, Zachariah Zinchin, I said, a whole lot of information. Says got a lot of information. So I just think about, like I said, when how the Most High, when He opens up the books in our lives and allows us to see, all the things that have been happening around us, how little we really knew, you know, how little all the other people around us know, how the angels have been protecting us, how they've been, teaching us, how all these things and all these events in our lives have been working to get us to this certain point. I mean, I am so looking forward, Most High willing, I'm here in a couple years. I said that's all up to the Most High. 2024, and seeing the changes. I'm praying to see our people restored. I'll say I'm praying to see our restoration physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, all of that. I'm praying to see, the other nations being exposed to this truth. That's what I want to see. I want to see the looks on the other nations' faces when they realize that all these things we've been telling them is the truth. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you are looking for, I mean, what are you looking forward to in 2024? You've been telling me that the Sumerian tablets for 2.5 years. Well, Pharaoh, Central, New Jerusalem. Yeah, I'm just sharing information. I'm sure a lot of you have already read it. I didn't say it's necessarily for me, and maybe that's for you to bring out. That's what I tell people all the time. Yeah, people have been telling me about it. That doesn't mean it's necessary for me to bring out. Might be for you to bring out. Maybe it's time for you to start a channel and you to start sharing information. Miss Abby, I totally agree with you. I want our world to go back to Avatar. Beautiful and peaceful. Yes. I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. I was watching that movie the other day. Went to go visit my pops, and we were watching Avatar. It was just my pops and I have totally different views on things, you know. So things that he looks for in movies, I don't look for. Things that he likes in certain movies, I don't like. But it is what it is. But um, I look at the nature. I look at the way the natives were living. You can see that they put a lot of our traditions in with those natives. The connection with the plants, the connection with the animals, the connection with each other. I see you, and just the deeper meanings of things. Seeing people on a spiritual level, seeing people on a deeper level. You know, and that's the thing. Like everyone, a lot of people talk about, well, I've been talking to you about this for a couple of years, or I've been bringing up this. I said there's levels to all of this, and sometimes, hey, if you've been given certain information, then it's your responsibility to bring it out. You know what I'm saying? It's your responsibility to share. It's not all on just a couple of people to do all the stuff. I said, because that's not how this works. If the Most High has blessed you with information, blessed you with understanding, then it'd be your responsibility to share it. Yes, I'm definitely with you on that. Yeah, yeah, Nigus. I'm eager for full strength and circle powers. I'm with you on that, definitely. Thank you, Jacob Israel. I appreciate that. Yes, I said the only way I've been gotten through the stuff that I've gotten through is through the power of the Most High. It's through Him protecting me and taking care of me, and bringing me through. So, last year at this time, I was blind, or barely had my first surgery, to get my vision back. So, like I said, I've gone through a whole lot, and I said I know that the only way I've gone through that is through the power of the Most High. So he said, we got a little bit of time, an hour, a year and a half left. I said, and just anticipate things getting even crazier over the next year and a half. Crazier for them, because it's just getting worse and worse. And a lot of these people have lost faith. They've lost faith. You know, said they've lost faith because Cesare Borgia isn't falling through the way that they're used to. He's not coming through the way he used to. I said there's more. The Most High has given us more ammunition and having us bring out more information that they cannot refute. I said the information that the Most High gives us to bring out, they don't refute it. And if they try, the rebuttal against what they said is going to be fierce, and they're not going to be able to do anything about it. You know what I'm saying? Like they try to talk about certain things, and I'm like, bro, we studied that stuff 6 years ago. I got to go back into the archives to get information on something that you thought was brand new. You thought this breakdown was brand new, and we got to go back 5-6 years ago to get my notes on that information. Like when somebody tried to talk about Noah being white, and that when God wanted to send a prophet, he had to send a white man. We all know about that, right? I said, so we already know. I'm like, bro, are you serious? You can already tell he just went to Google and found that on Wikipedia. He thought he found something. I'm like, bro, are you serious? You mean he was an albino, wasn't white? I said, come on now. So I mean, we gotta go back, and I said we Most High been preparing us for this kind of stuff long time. And trust me, I said if I haven't been given the information, someone here has it, and someone here is gonna bring out the information, gonna bring out that understanding. You're right now exactly now Noah's white, right? But he looked like the fallen angels. So that would mean that the fallen angels were white. I said, but that's when you got that mentality that white people are God's chosen people, and you're gonna try to twist things to believe that black people are the seed of Cain and that we're cursed. I said you've all that's been something that's been ingrained in you for such a long time that you're gonna have a hard time um, breaking away from that. You're gonna have a very difficult time breaking away from those thought processes. you know. But like I said, in one side of your mouth, you're talking about how God's white, the prophets are white, black people are the seed of Cain, and the other side of your mouth, you're going to say, "Oh, but Jesus loves everybody, and we all have an opportunity to go to heaven." And that if you don't agree with what I'm saying, you're being racist. You know what I'm saying? I was like, it's okay, man. We can have differing opinions, and I'm not a racist. And that's the thing. It's like I'd be cracking up when they try to say that we're exactly like the Ku Klux Klan or that we're a race. I'm like, how? Because we have a differing opinion than you doesn't make us racist, doesn't make us Ku Klux Klanish. You're entitled to your opinion, even though it's based off of whatever, and we're entitled to ours. Exactly. We've never terrorized anyone, never burned crosses in front of anyone, never lynched anyone, but somehow we get equated to the same things, you know, the same things. Come on now. That makes no sense whatsoever. We are the most loving people on earth. Haven't hurt anyone. Never hung people on trees, raped, robbed, murdered, stolen land. Exactly. You miss us with all that BS. Exactly. So like I said, so yeah, please. But that's what they love to try to do. Try to accuse us of things that they've been doing. You know, talk about, like I've said, hey, in the other videos, you guys create the problem, so later on you can act like you're the ones bringing a solution. I said you came in and raped, robbed, and murdered, stole our land, stole all of our, our history, everything else, and then you try to bring a solution with white Jesus. False equivalencies, exactly. So that stuff doesn't work anymore. You guys aren't gonna be able to do that anymore. Create the problem, and then try to act like you're coming in with a solution. So it's not gonna work. And as we get closer to 2024, it's going to get nothing but worse for you because your lies are going to be even more exposed. Always trying to deflect, exactly. Always trying to deflect. Instead of talking about the evils that they've perpetrated against us, it's always about, deflecting. Always about deflecting. Yep, we are a peculiar people. When you go through the scriptures, I mean, that's the whole thing. We're a peculiar people, small group of people, a called out people, a holy people, a separate people. Like I said, stuff that matches the word for cult. So, you guys calling us that, calling us saying we're in a cult, and to me, hey, that's cool. That's like a badge of honor. That's cool. It don't bother me because everything in your society is flipped. Everything in this society is flipped. It's upside down. So your pope just came in here, came over here to Canada and pretty much admitted to raping, robbing, and murdering kids for hundreds of years, stealing them from their families and whatever else, killing them and burying them, on their premises, and nothing's happened to them. Nothing's happened to them. He's still in charge of everything. He still makes all the decisions and everything else. I said so, but and supposedly he's the one that's going to lead you to heaven. All your pastors who follow that same script, they act exactly the same way. Did nothing different. They were used to justify slavery, and then so somehow now they're going to say, "Oh well, we're not those types of Christians, right?" And but they're going to teach you how to make it to heaven. All these people that are supposedly going to lead you to heaven have been, if you look at all their history is full of nothing but rape, robbery, and murdering, and lying, and hiding information. Got all of our books, all of our records, hiding all that information, but they're going to teach us how to get to heaven, right? Okay. So I don't know who's worse, the ones who are perpetrating the lies, or the ones who are believing the lies and supporting the lies. Who's worse? Because you're too lazy and you don't want to actually question anything. Because I mean, you pretty much you have to be pretty racist to, like, we bring you information and for you to just discount it because of the color of our skin or because of the way that we look. Because I mean, really, what other reasons do you have to just discount everything that we say as if it's not true without doing any research and without looking at it at all? But if someone who looks like a so-called white man tells you something that's totally false, you don't even question him and you believe him hook, line, and sinker. So, like I said, that shows racism right there. Black man can come in, show you facts, show you precepts, show you all this information, and you're like, hell nah, I don't believe anything you have to say. White pastor comes in, just starts telling you just random shit that has no proof, that he can't prove, and you're like, yeah, I agree, I believe. That's it. I said that's exactly it. He can tell you, I am a professor of chemistry. I got this one book right here. It's only got one chapter. Originally, it had 20. Now it only has one. But I am the professor of this doctorate program. We only have one book with one chapter. And if you learn this one chapter, you will be a doctor as well. People will be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All because of the way that person who presents it looks. But if the so-called black man shows up with the other 19 chapters, so he has the full book with chapters 1 through 20, and you're gonna be like, nah, I don't believe anything you have to say. I'm gonna keep listening to the dude who only has one chapter. I'm gonna listen to the dude who only has one chapter and he's missing the other 19. I'm gonna listen to him because I like the way he dresses. His skin looks a little whiter, little more pure than yours. I'm gonna listen to him. But I have all 20 chapters right here. Isn't that important? Nah, I don't. Now the information. Nah, I don't want to read all that anyways. He told me what I have to know, so I'm good over here. That's the world we're living in right now. That's the world that we live in right now. Like, okay, then I can't force you to come over here and study all 20 chapters. If you want to study the one and act like you're a doctorate, you have your doctorate. You want to? I'm still not gonna call you doctor or anything because you only know one chapter. I'm not. I don't care what title they give you. I'm not calling you a doctor. Who's got 1 million followers on Instagram? The Dr. Carpy. Who has 1 million followers on Instagram? Exactly. I'm not asking for their version of the Bible or approval. Exactly. Doctor one chapter. Exactly. Joel Pocket on Swolstein. Oh my gosh, you cracking me up. Exactly, Miss Ebby. They're mad because we don't need their validation anymore. Exactly. Exactly. That's a big thing when we start needing their validation. When we stop needing their validation, and we start realizing about all their lies. That was huge. But you can see there's still like a lot of people that are supposing the truth that all they want to do is get validation from the other nations. I said that's what they've been. That's what they do. They want that validation. I'm like, nah. I'm sorry. I have a hard time believing that the Gentiles really can teach me how to make it to heaven. Really have a hard time with that. Have a hard time with that concept. Have a hard time wrapping my head around thinking these Gentiles can teach me how to get to heaven. They can't even tell me anything about the Bible. They can't even tell us where the promised land is. Iris Hughes, that's exactly what I do. Thank you. I appreciate that. I was like, I'll take my chances doing it myself. Sorry, I said I'll take chances studying on my own. I'm not gonna worry about what you guys have to say. So your track record is not really good. Your guys' track record is not really good with learning, you know, teaching people how to, you know, to learn new things and learn new concepts and apply new information and come up with a different outcome. I said your guys' track record on that kind of stuff is not really good. Says, in fact, I haven't seen any proof that you guys can do that at all. Y'all still got the same books approved that you guys. Well, yeah, ain't proved them that long ago, in the 1800s, whatever else. It's not like you guys have been like that long. But you guys haven't been. You guys haven't been around long enough to be making those kinds of decisions. Exactly. You're saying we all came from Africa still. You guys said that we all got here on slave ships. You guys still stuck on that. I shared that video by Tasha, I think Tasha X, about the Olmecs and like what they would have looked like, and that was a pretty awesome video. I said there's all this proof that the Negroes are already here, and you guys just ignore it. Just like that the statue in Palenque, the original statues were of Negroes. And in a book that I shared with you guys, that was like the first edition. All the newer editions, they took those pictures out. So the fact that you guys were hiding all these pictures and hiding all this information, right, that convicts you even more. So yeah, y'all just got here. Y'all need to hush. Y'all need to stop talking. But like I said, we're gonna hear them keep talking about, oh, this other pastor got a word from the Lord, and and this is the real prophecy that's really going on now, and we're gonna be raptured up out of here because there's a second Exodus in Ukraine, and I said just hilarious. Oh, he just went live. I'll have to go check him out in a little bit. I'm sure I said we'll have to hear what he has to say. But it's just funny how we all of a sudden now we got all these multiple pastors now for the last few years that have been getting these visions. And again, they're just starting their prophecies on N and just skipping, from A to M. They're just skipping all that. Skipping everything else, skipping who the people of the book are, skipping everything. But it's amazing though to watch how our Father is working now. They have no prophecy because the prophecies don't revolve around them. So right. He said, and it's nice to be able to come together today and spend time with the family. The Village of Jehoshaphat, I have no idea. The Village of Jehoshaphat here in the Americas, I said I think a lot of things that happen in the Bible happen over here in the Americas and not over there. I said that's just my opinion because remember, they didn't even have a lot of these records until they got over here. The King James version that they all talk about. However, I only mess with the 1611. Well, you had to come over here in 1492 first. You had to get these records over here first. A lot of this information was already spread worldwide, but they weren't allowed to come over here um, to the Americas. Once they got over here to the Americas, they got a whole lot. They got access to a whole lot of other information. Then all of a sudden, all these books starts popping up after 1492 and the 15s, 16s, 1700s. So it seems like all of a sudden they got exposed to all this information, and you know what they do when they get a hold of our information. All right, let's rub it up, flip it, rub it down, change it up a little bit, put our name on it, put our pictures on it. It's ours now. Couldn't even have accurate times exactly. So I said so. I don't believe anything that they say. If they say something's over there, okay, well it's not there. If they say it was in the Middle East, I don't believe it. If they say it was over, no, I don't believe it. Because when have they told us the truth about anything? I said they got our records and they just changed it all up and repackaged it, rebranded it, put their name on it, put their pictures on it, and here you go. We've been here for 10,000 years. And that's it. We'll just have to wait and see. Why is the X for 2017 and 2024 over the Americas? Wouldn't it make sense that um, wouldn't it make sense for it to be over the so-called Middle East if that's where everything went down at? Why is the Most High making it seem as if you can see how these lands are so important? Why are they showing us that now? Why is the X right now over the Americas? Why is it over Illinois, Makanda? Why did they make a movie about Black Panther and Wakanda, and they made that down in South America, right? So like I said, I don't know. And like I said before, I don't need to know. You know what I'm saying? So don't need to. The Most High going to show us. You know what? And the thing is, everything it's been made to be confusing on purpose. It's been made to be confusing on purpose. So then, you know, think of the people who are making it confusing. Then, you know what I'm saying? They made everything confusing for a reason. So like I said these lands over here are very important, and that's what the Most High is showing us. He's showing us, through these eclipses, and he's not just showing us just because we were enslaved here. We were enslaved worldwide. So there's got to be some other reason as to why there's a big X. There's got to be another reason as to why, they're giving all this money to Ukraine and they're moving all their military equipment over there. There's got to be, a reason as to why, you know, Most High is sweeping people off this land. All those biblical names, exactly. And how do we know that these lands weren't named that first here, and that they got exposed to these names when they got over here? And really, it's like, okay, the lands, even the biblical names, um, are translations, right? So they're English translations. We don't know exactly what they were named by the original people. Hey, Sister Lisa, great seeing you. I said so. There's a lot of deep thinking, as you got to think about. A lot of these names are based off of our oppressors. A lot of the names over here. And where I'm at is there's a lot of Spanish names. You know what I'm saying? So, and we already know that Spain knows that's European. I said so. Those aren't the original words. Those weren't the original names. But we will know soon. I start thinking that's why the Most High has to give us a new language. He has to give us all that back. I said just like I said, this is just it's so deep. It's so deep. It's great seeing so many people here. He said we already know there's way more people than what they're showing. He said been stuck in these same numbers for the last 30 minutes, and that's cool. Like we said before, hey, you're gonna be a whole lot of pissed off people later on when they realize that the devil never even gave you an opportunity to hear the truth. He been hiding all this stuff from you. I said, but that's his job. That's what he's been set up for. Most High doesn't want everyone. So the Most High sends spirits to lead people astray. And that's exactly what we've been seeing. 46 in the chat. Woo, really? That's crazy. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I'm waiting for it to say there's only 3 people in the chat or 144. And that's it. It doesn't matter. It says the ones that are here are the ones that need to be here. That's funny. But like I said, it doesn't matter. I said because the ones that need to be here are here. I said it's a beautiful thing watching the Most High bring out this information, bring out this understanding, and we know, like I said, this it's going to be even more coming out, more understanding, and the rest of the nation is going to get more and more confused. How it's going to work out. I mean, I'm kind of anxious to see, as far as like the other nations coming to the realization that their reality has come to an end. That their reality's come to an end, and how the Most High is going to play that out. And it's okay for us not to know exactly how that's going to happen. Like the Gentiles seem to think they need to know everything, but we understand that the Father's got all of this, under control. But I'm anxious to see how the Most High is going to play all of this out, and the looks on the faces of the other nations. I'm gonna let you guys go, fam. It's great seeing everyone here. I pray that everyone has a good week. Pray that the Most High keeps you safe. Pray that you keep on working with those angels, working with the Holy Spirit, acknowledging them and thanking them, for helping us along and giving us more knowledge and understanding. And ultimately, we give all praises to the Most High. Shalom, family.